Hello and welcome to Brands Hatch for the first round of the 2014 Radical SR1 Challenge. We've got new drivers who've joined the championship this year and they're all in identical machinery. We've got two races that we're going to bring you the highlights of, but before the racing gets underway, let's catch up with some of the new drivers.
Very excited about it, a little bit nervous, a bit apprehensive. We started off at Bedford, did the How Fast Day. It's pretty wet, sliding all over the place, a couple of big spins. But it was good, I got fourth in that, and it's the real deal today. So a good test day yesterday, and I'm looking forward to getting out on the track and having a go.
Really exciting weekend for me. This is my first ever SR1 race weekend. Yesterday I came out here and did some testing, doubled my time in a Radical and doubled the amount of time I spent around Brands Hatch, so I'm feeling twice as confident or twice as nervous about today, but really excited about the opportunity, not just to actually have some fun in what is a brilliant fun small sports car, but also to learn a little bit more about how cars handle on the limit of performance, because this time next year we're trying to take Bloodhound on its journey to 1,000 miles an hour, and I need all the driving skills I can get between now and then. So it's going to be a really good fun weekend and I'm going to learn a lot.
So the cars coming to the grid then, ready for the start of race one. With lining up in pole position Matt Brooks, alongside him in the front row of the grid is Chris Carr. Then row 2, James Guess, Robert Watkins. Row 3, Dave Morgan from Peter Tyler, Barry Lithersage and John Glendenning complete the fourth row ahead of Martin Verity and Darren James. So there's Andy Green, who we just heard from, 13th on the grid. He's got a little bit of chasing to do, as do Richard Wilson and Nick Wilkinson. Very healthy grid though for this second season of the Radical SR1 Cup. As the revs rise and away we go. It's a brilliant start from James Guess, who slithers through past the sluggish pole sitter Matt Brooks, as it's Chris Carr who looks to take the lead into Paddock Hill Bend but doesn't, because diving through is James Guess, and Chris Carr slips back to third. But you can see the track a little bit slippery, particularly offline, and therefore the drivers having to be more cautious than they'd like in these first couple of corners. So around Druids and downhill towards Graham Hill Bend. Out front it is that number 11 car, James Guess, the orange and blue headlamps. Then it's the yellow and black car, number 44 of Matt Brooks in third. We've got Robert Watkins, then the big gap back to Chris Carr, who's really got the rest of the field running as one, just tucked in behind him as they swoop through into 30s for the first time. There's Andy Green, third from the back. He's looking to line up a move here. It's Robert Watkins who closes up onto the tail of Matt Brooks as they arrive in the braking zone for Paddock Hill Bend. Further back we've got Mark Schrader looking to make a little bit of progress on Peter Tyler. It's Tyler, the orange helmet. Meanwhile, the race leaders through Druids. Matt Brooks doing a good job here of getting onto terms with James Guess. Round Graham Hill Bend, both of them having to just be very careful not to over-aggressively ride those curbs. So we've got off into the gravel trap. Andy Green goes off, and that's an unfortunate start to the weekend for Green. Car, fortunately, though, doesn't appear to be too badly damaged. While Barry Lithersage and John Glendenning, cars 7 and 6, having a good scrap. There's a couple of others try to join in. Meanwhile, back Richard Wilson, Nick Wilkinson. Oh dear, and Richard Wilson says, I don't believe it, because Wilkinson came from a long, long way back to make that move, and it wasn't altogether successful. Meanwhile, Mark Trader leads Giles Newby across the line, the pair of them battling over 7th and 8th down through Paddock Hill Bend. Trader just clear of Newby, pair of them tiptoeing round Druids, then swooping downhill. The laps here in these Radical SR1 Cup cars going by almost in the blink of an eye, just 51 seconds. It's an average lap speed then of something in the region of 85 miles an hour. Very potent cars, even though they're designed for relative newcomers to racing. SR1 Cup, it's a great way to go racing affordably in a very impressive sports car. Giles Newby returning for his second season in the category, settled in behind Mark Crader, just to try and use the slipstream as they propel themselves along the Brabham Straight, which for those novices in the series, discovering is not a straight at all, but rather a gentle right-hand curve, all the way into the slightly less gentle right-hand curve of Paddock Hill Bend, as the safety car comes out and it bunches the field up. And James Guess, having done all that hard work to break clear of Matt Brooks, now finds that all of his advantage has disappeared, and we've not got too much longer to go here. So away we go, and James Guest, though, propels himself away very nicely. So it's then Matt Brooks and Chris Carr who busy fighting over second and third, but they all close up on each other down through Paddock Hill Bend. Brooks getting the hurry up here from a fast starting car, or fast restarting car rather. That's Robert Watkins, the 77 car, next along. So the leading quartet round Druids arrive into Graham Hill Bend. James Guest still trying to move clear of Matt Brooks. Brooks busy having his mirrors filled by Carr, who looks to the inside along the Cooper Straight. Into Surtees, draws alongside, but he can't quite get close enough to Brooks. And Brooks, that gives him the hurry up to really challenge now James Guest on the brakes into clearways. You can see how much closer Brooks is as they sprint along the start and finish straight on towards the checkered flag, and it is going to be victory by just a couple of tenths of a second for James Guest. Matt Brooks in second and Chris Carr in third after that thrilling finale to the race. So let's have a look then at the final classification. Victory for Guest, Brooks in second, Chris Carr in third, Robert Watkins next and fourth, ahead of John Glendenning, Giles Newby and Mark Crader. Time for the champagne on the podium.
Yeah, I managed to get off the line well. Matt got a bit bogged down and got on the inside of Chris, and that was it. I managed to pull away. And it was the safety car that nearly undid me because I didn't keep the tyres warm and I was too busy looking in my mirrors, and Matt and Chris were coming quickly, so I'm glad the race finished when it did. One more lap, I think Chris would have done a mad dive down the inside and we'd all have been off.
Obviously the pole position place is uphill on the start, and it was also wet. The dry line was on the left, so I had all the disadvantages, and yeah, sure, I bogged down. And after that, I couldn't get past. I was biding my time, and towards the end, Chris was catching us as well, making it more complicated, and the tyres just weren't there for it, I'm afraid. So, mind you, I settled for second, and I'll know better for this afternoon.
I was so cross with myself there. I got such a bad start, and these guys got a jump on me, and it was just hard work all the way through to try and catch them up. And I was up behind Matt all the time, and just couldn't get my way through it. Perhaps next race.
So race two, Matt Brooks and Chris Carr share the front row of the grid ahead of Robert Watkins and James Guest. And away we go. It's a super start from Watkins, and he may be boxed in here because Chris Carr and Matt Brooks are a little bit quicker off the line than they were in race one. It's going to be Carr who leads the field down through Paddock Hill Bend for the first time of asking. It's Brooks in second place, Watkins in third, then it's James Guest in fourth. The rest of the pack surge up into Druids. There's Giles Newby right in the thick of the action, but they're all cleanly through the first couple of corners down into Graham Hill Bend. Now the big question here is whether or not Chris Carr can make good a little bit of an escape, or whether or not he is going to have Matt Brooks all over his tail. Well, at the moment it would appear as if we're going to have a very keenly contested race, very tight, as Andy Green towards the back of the field looks to make progress. Chris Carr looks to try and build a buffer over Matt Brooks, but you can see he's brought Brooks, Guest and Watkins with him, so the leading quartet streak across the line. Jump on the brakes. In the case of Matt Brooks, very late for Paddock Hill Bend, down through the right-hander, immediately climbing up to Druids. This is a relentless circuit for these drivers in the Radical SR1 Cup, because there is pretty much no respite whatsoever. Because even the Bradman Straight is firstly a curve, but secondly, you're always looking to try and plot your move into Paddock Hill Bend. So the leading quartet, though, beginning to ease clear, and a little bit of a challenge here. It's Robert Watkins who looks to make the move on James Guest into Surtees, and Watkins darts through, takes the place away from Guest. Guest, though, immediately looks to retaliate into clearways, but Watkins has got the outside swooping racing line, so there's nothing there that James Guest can do. As they propel themselves then along the Bradman Straight and into another lap. All those antics, rather just split the leading a little bit. Not so further behind John Glendenning and Barry Liversidge, continuing from whence they left off in race one. It's Liversidge looking to the outside of Glendenning into Paddock Hill Bend. Glendenning in the blue car, though, has got that machine perfectly positioned. Coming up to Druids, he gives Barry Liversidge racing room, but absolutely no more than that. There's no way through for Liversidge. It's the pair of them head down out of Druids into Graham Hill Bend along the very short sprint of the Cooper Straight. Chasing down Dave Morgan, the 69 car just ahead of them. Surtees riding the curves. Then round clearways out of Clark Curve on to the Bradman Straight. So there is Morgan. He has got John Glendenning, Barry Liversidge just tucked in behind him. This has been a good lap from Glendenning and Liversidge. They've got onto terms with Morgan, absolutely no time at all. But Dave Morgan may well lose his place here because John Glendenning's got a super run coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. He moves to the inside nice and early on Hailwood Hill and completes that manoeuvre well before they turn into the hairpin at Druids. So it's now the turn of Dave Morgan to start concerning himself a little bit with Barry Liversidge, who's just in behind him. You see the pace though that John Glendenning's going to immediately romps away from this duo. You feel that Liversidge needs to make this move sooner rather than later on Dave Morgan if it's going to lead to any degree of success. Because the risk is, particularly here on the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, you can get mesmerised by the car in front and start mimicking exactly the line, the braking points of those around you, which is why Giles Newby is looking to move clear of Martin Verity as quickly as he can. Verity, though, doing exactly what he needs to do, which is sticking on the racing line. They're trying to chase down Derek James just ahead of them. So over the start and finish line on the brakes into Paddock Hill Bend. What a brilliant race this is. Wherever you look, there are scraps going on. Dave Morgan and Barry Liversidge still busy disputing 6th place. Thus far, Liversidge has been unable to prize away past Morgan. A pair of them making their first steps into motorsport. You can see that with the yellow stick with the black cross on the rear of the car. It suggests that they are novice drivers who have done fewer than a handful of motor races. Therefore, they are acquitting themselves very well. This really is what the Radical SR1 Cup is all about. It's about the full package to bring drivers into competitive motorsport. The wheel of very potent machinery right now into a little bit of traffic for the race leader Chris Carr. It's on the tail of Lewis G, and this could give Matt Brooks the opportunity to challenge. G calls a little bit unawares maybe as Carr swoops past. So does Matt Brooks, but it gives Brooks the opportunity to get right onto terms with Chris Carr. And Carr coming to real pressure as he trails the brake into clearways. He now has to be so delicate about when he gets the power down, lets the car break traction. This time he gets perfect exit as they accelerate along the Brabham Straight. Brooks, though, is going to be enjoying himself immensely because to follow the car in front on the Brands Hatch Circuit and hassle them when you know you've got a slightly quicker machine is a very enjoyable experience as a driver. To be the driver defending, in the case of Chris Carr, well, he could do with the checker flag coming out around about now. Dear, but that's a big slide from Chris Carr, and that gives Matt Brooks even more of an opening. Brooks, an alligator basking in the sunlight, ready to snap at any moment and take his prey and the top step on the rostrum. Chris Carr, though, has to defend and loses out into Surtees. Very late move from Matt Brooks. He darts to the inside, gains the place into clearways. Immediately Chris Carr tries to recover. Oh, the rear of the car overtakes the front of it. Around he goes. And Chris Carr rotates out of second place. Let's hope he's kept the engine fired up there because he's stuck in a very exposed part of the track. So Matt Brooks now leads comfortably. There is Carr. Here is Brooks swooping into Surtees. Now, has Chris Carr been able to recover? We've not got all that long left on the clock here, so it might not be worthwhile getting the safety car out as they can't. Oh, there is Chris Carr. He's still stranded, and unfortunately he's pointing uphill as well, so he may not be able to get that car going onwards from there. The same, Matt Brooks continues on his way. Oh, the red flag comes out, so the race is brought to a halt. A checker flag displayed at the same time, and therefore that gives the win to Matt Brooks from Robert Watkins and James Guess. Let's have a look then at the final results. So Brooks wins it, Watkins in second, Guess in third, ahead of John Glendenning. Dave Morgan did hold off Barry Liversidge.
Dive in and grab a very quick word with Matt. Matt, runner-up in race 1, winning race 2.
Yeah, well, I messed up my start again, and I sat behind the car and I thought, oh no, here we go again. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. But yeah, I kept at him and got a lucky chance through Surtees, and then behind me I saw him spin. So what can I say?
No, I was fourth in race 1. Very pleased with second in race 2. Can't remember much of the race, to be honest. All a bit of a blur. But it was pretty quiet the second half, and I just stuck in there. And I think the guy in front of me spun out, which gave me second place, which I was very pleased with.
Yeah, great day. Can't complain. Fantastic. Didn't quite get it right that one, but really good. And thanks to all my team and guys, Nick and Meryl and James and Sarah and everybody for being here, and Peter for helping me. So yeah, great, really good day. Thank you.
So leaving Brands Hatch, these are the standings, and Matt Brooks 8 points clear of James Guess, with Robert Watkins in third, the rest snapping at their heels.
A great first weekend for the Radical SR1 Cup here at Brands Hatch, and 2 different drivers securing victory. Join us again next time around when we head to Snetterton in Norfolk for rounds 3 and 4.